Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has said repeatedly that she's on the side of the worker against the corporation, wasn't standing with you at the barricades.
Amazon union organizer Christian Smalls was on Tucker Carlson's show last night and shut down Tucker's obvious attempt to use him for anti-left propaganda. So before I get to these clips, and I got a couple of them, this was an incredible victory. So I covered it 2 weeks ago when it happened. Historic Amazon workers win vote to unionize. So if you want more on what happened there, you can go watch that video. I'll link to it below in the description box. But as labor writer here, Stephen Greenhouse, wrote at the time, in my 25 years writing about labor, the unionization victory at the Amazon warehouse in Staten Island is by far the biggest beating the odds David versus Goliath unionization win I've seen. A fired Amazon worker took on Amazon's union busters and unionized a 5,000 worker warehouse, showing you just how incredible this victory is. Now, let me get to these clips, because Tucker, of course, doesn't care about the victory, doesn't care about how historic this is. What he cares about is trying to use this victory as a way to try and attack people in Congress, the only ones that actually support union efforts.
Christian Smalls is a union leader at Amazon, and we're happy to have him join us now. Christian, thanks so much for coming on. Were you surprised that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has said repeatedly that she's on the side of the worker against the corporation, wasn't standing with you at the barricades?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just her. It was all of them pretty much. It's not
fair.
I don't want it to make it just between us and AOC because, a lot of them didn't show up. And, once again, we have no ill will against them. We know that whether they showed up or not, they didn't make or break our election. We just had to continue to organize.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird moment because, I'm on the right. I've never been particularly pro-union, but it does seem like Amazon needs some counterbalance. Like, it's this huge company. The workers have no power, and maybe we could, share a little power with people who work there.
All right, so I'll have another clip coming up, and I'll get to my thoughts on the AOC story around this, and also I'll get to which cable news network has actually covered this victory the most, and the result there may surprise you. But first here, great job from Christian Smalls to not fall into this distraction that Tucker's throwing out there and to refocus on the actual union effort, and he does more of that in the next clip I'm going to show you as well. But first, on this AOC angle, it's fine for the organizers to complain that she wasn't there, to want her there. That's understandable, of course. But also, understand, it would be pure symbolism. I mean, this is the thing that we complain about on the left about politicians, about them just doing purely symbolic moves, just virtue signaling, and not actually fighting for legislation. Showing up would do what? Like, the only real impact it may have had is it could have actually hurt the union effort. I mean, you saw in Bessemer, Alabama, coverage on that for months. Amazon, recognizing how big that moment was, poured a ton of effort, a ton of money into anti-union propaganda. And to be fair, they did the same here in Staten Island, but not to the same degree. And having someone like AOC show up would put a massive spotlight on that fight, would generate Amazon to take this fight even more seriously, and could have actually led to them losing. Now, ultimately, I don't think it really would have mattered either way. I mean, these organizers did an incredible job, did it their own way with, achieving this incredible victory. So regardless, I don't think it really would have had that much of an impact. But understand, again, it's pure symbolism. So to over-focus on this, instead of focusing on, legislation that they've actually tried to pass. I mean, AOC, her bill here, federal contractors must obey labor law and allow unions or else. So, this is what lawmakers are supposed to be doing. The symbolism is fine. I can take it or leave it. I don't really care. This is what actually matters. So, as they write here, every year, the federal government hands out billions of dollars, $500 billion last year, to corporate contracts and through them, subcontractors. AOC wants to ensure those dollars go to union members, union shops, or firms that will let workers unionize. If they don't, the first-year Democratic Socialist U.S. representative from New York says legislatively they'll lose out. That's the point of HR 5073, the A Just Society Uplift Our Workers Act, which AOC recently dropped in the hopper. It says, in no uncertain terms, that firms getting federal funds must be pro-worker, obeying all labor laws, and not putting roadblocks in front of unionization or else. This is what we should expect from lawmakers. Now, obviously, you need more people in Congress in support of something like this to be able to pass it, because one person can't do it all. That is not how Congress works. But this is the kind of thing that you want to see from lawmakers. So to hyper focus on symbolism when you're the same ones complaining that all politicians do is symbolism, to me, is a little odd. And, you know, you also have this year or last year with the PRO Act, this passed the House. Democrats passed this. Of course, the Senate is a bigger barrier with Manchin and Sinema. But you have this as well. So, that, you know, they're actually working to do some pro-union things. I just find the over-focus on symbolism to be a little strange. Now, in terms of Tucker's intention here, this makes it very clear. So Sam Adler-Bell here tweets out, if you're Tucker, precisely what you want from this segment, which in its entirety features Smalls using the platform quite deftly to advocate for labor, is for leftists to take the bait, resent Smalls, or else join Tucker more so than Smalls in vilifying an ally. This is exactly right. So don't fall into the trap of now criticizing Christian Smalls because he was on Tucker. He was on Tucker and did what? Talked about the Amazon union, and I'll show more of that in a second here. He didn't go on there to attack the left. He went on there to talk about the union, the effort, how Amazon is mistreating workers. That's why he's there. That's a positive use of a platform like this. Just understand that Tucker, his whole intention here was to not care about he doesn't care about, he says in the clip, he doesn't care about unions. So to then try and lob complaints at a lawmaker not in support of the union when you yourself don't support unions, come on. It exposes the whole intention of Tucker doing this segment, and that's trying and attack the only lawmakers that actually support unions. Now, that's also how the media took it. So Tucker is a very intelligent individual. He's a horrible person, but he knows exactly what he is doing. Because you see the media headline here, Tucker Carlson praises Amazon union organizer who says AOC abandoned him. I certainly am rooting for you. Even though, if you watch the entire segment, this is barely discussed at all. Christian Smalls doesn't even really touch on it. But this is what the headlines focus on. Tucker knows that. This is only a net benefit for Tucker. Now, before I get to the next clip, I want to show you here the cable news network that covered this victory the most. And the result here may surprise you. MSNBC. 13 segments. Total number of cable news segments on the Staten Island Amazon warehouse unionization vote. 13 segments on MSNBC. Fox News, 5 with, all of them being negative towards the victory or towards the effort or in support of Amazon corporate. And CNN, 1 segment. So CNN, the absolute worst. MSNBC did an actually surprisingly positive, good job here. I mean, they also had Christian Smalls on. This didn't make headlines the way the Tucker one did because, it was a conversation about the actual victory and not about trying to attack the left. But so surprising. They did a good job here. Now, let's get to the second clip where Christian Smalls, again, focuses on the victory by these workers.
I mean, you'd think that Amazon would be open to a union, wouldn't you? It's a very progressive company. Why do you think they're trying to thwart you from organizing?
Amazon hasn't been unionized in this country since the beginning of its existence, and they're very anti-union. They created a system that hires and fires people. They created a system that they have full control of the working people, and having a union obviously brings representation for the workers that'll benefit the workers at the bottom, like myself, hourly associates, entry-level workers that don't get the right to negotiate. So forming a union gives us the right to collective bargain with the company, form a contract to protect ourselves. So that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Amazon Labor Union. We're hoping that we'll be a catalyst for something that'll take place nationwide.
Well, I certainly am rooting for you. I mean, maybe if they throw some more woke slogans at you, you'll forget you can't feed your family.
Yes, I certainly am rooting for you. I mean, I don't support unions, but I'm certainly rooting for your success. Come on. Amazon, the progressive company. Tucker knows he is full of shit. Just because a company thinks it's good business to support LGBTQ rights, to be in support of human rights is good business, that doesn't make them progressive. Of course, a massive company like Amazon is not going to support a union effort. They should, but they're not going to, because ultimately they care about short-term profits for their executives. They don't care about about workers that generate that profit. They don't care about them having their own voice. Tucker knows this. He's not stupid. But day in, day out, he paints these organizations as far left. Oh, the far left Amazon, far left Google. Are you out of your mind? But this is what he does, so he tries to, continue that narrative here. But again, a great job from Christian Smalls to bypass all of that. Just support the union, focus on the effort of the workers there. Solid job from Christian Smalls.